They caught OTF Jam at the gas station. And I want y'all to know, whenever you ride any sports car, anything like that, Hellcat, Scat Pack, you have to be cautious because those are expensive cars and people want to take those. Those worth about $200,000. I want y'all to drop them RP King Vons down in the comment section. Let me know if you think that OTF Jam, he was bogus for what he did to Lil Durk. I want y'all to listen to what the investigators and the DA had to say about this, man. OTF Jam went back to O Block. He let them know he ain't snitch on Lil Durk, but whole time he did. And he went back to the feds and told them that O Block was over there shooting dice. I want y'all to pay attention to what the DA said, man. This is sad. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you rockin' with Lil Durk. Let me know if you rockin' with King Von. O Block heated. They stepped outside on King Drive waiting for anybody to pull up. I want y'all to know CPD, they couldn't stop them because it was so deep. Lil Durk, he's sitting in jail right now. Lil Durk ain't deserve to go out like that, but they said that he gave India the footage of like 2 bodies. And I want y'all to understand, Lil Durk, he a mastermind of what he did, man, but at the end of the day, you can't really say that he did this and did that because he wasn't at the scene. At the end of the day, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel.
Like and subscribe to the channel, drop the rest in peace, King Von, in the comment section. Now we know OTF Jam stole $200,000 from King Von after Kayla B sent him an OTFDD to ATL to collect King Von's clothes out the house and bring them back to O Block BJ, but they end up stealing from folks now. Shocking turn. Lil Durk allegedly hands India video evidence of 2 bodies. Fed suspect OTF Jam's testimony was fabricated until Detective BSAC connects the dots. Introduction. The startling revelation, 5 minutes. Setting up the story. Start by introducing the dramatic claim that Lil Durk allegedly entrusted his partner, India, with a video recording that implicates him in connection to 2 recent bodies. Describe how this claim has turned the spotlight on Lil Durk, intensifying an already complex investigation. The role of OTF Jam. Introduce OTF Jam's involvement, who reportedly told federal investigators that he had proof to link Lil Durk to this alleged incident. When he offered this information, the lead detective, BSAC, initially viewed it as an attempt to shift blame or gain a plea deal. Federal reaction and skepticism. Describe how the feds initially thought Jam's statement was a strategic fabrication, viewing it as a desperate attempt to secure leniency. Act 1. Lil Durk and the trust placed in India, 5 minutes. The connection between Lil Durk and India. Give background on Lil Durk and India's relationship. Describe how they have been each other's confidants through thick and thin, with India often appearing as a steadfast partner. Alleged transfer of evidence. Detail how Durk supposedly entrusted India with this sensitive footage, implying an unusual level of trust in their relationship. This gesture raises questions about the level of involvement or knowledge India may have regarding Durk's street connections. Why this move was made. Explore possible reasons for this decision. Was it to protect Durk from law enforcement or prevent others within OTF from accessing potentially damning material? Implications for India. Explain how this action might put India in a precarious legal position where the boundaries between loyalty and legal consequences could blur. Act 2. OTF Jam's statement to Detective BSAC, 10 minutes. Who is OTF Jam? Give a brief profile of Jam, explaining his role within the OTF crew and his connection to Lil Durk. Describe his current legal troubles and potential motivations for offering this information to the authorities. The alleged meeting with Detective BSAC. Detail the interaction between Jam and Detective BSAC. Describe BSAC's initial reaction, possibly dismissing Jam's testimony as a last-ditch effort to avoid severe charges. The information Jam allegedly shared. Break down what Jam claimed. That Lil Durk recorded and stored evidence of 2 alleged bodies and subsequently passed this information along to India. Why the feds were initially skeptical. Describe why this story might have seemed far-fetched at first, given the trust issues that often arise in criminal circles and how risky it would be to leave such evidence with anyone. BSAC's skepticism. Go into Detective BSAC's thought process, highlighting his belief that Jam was manipulating the truth. Act 3. The evidence surfaces and changes everything, 5 minutes. New evidence emerges. Reveal how Over time, additional evidence comes to light, potentially validating Jam's statement. Describe how video files or other digital clues start aligning with Jam's story. Detective BSAC reconsiders. Detail how BSAC starts piecing together seemingly unrelated information that corroborates Jam's statement, such as metadata or location data tied to the alleged video files. The shocking discovery of the video files. Describe the moment BSAC realizes there may be some truth to Jam's allegations. This twist pulls the rug from under the investigation, suddenly thrusting India into the investigation and putting Durk's alleged actions in the spotlight. Reevaluating Jam's testimony. Discuss how the new details change the Fed's perspective on Jam, now considering him as a credible informant rather than a suspect desperately trying to shift focus. Act 4. India's position and potential implications for Lil Durk, 5 minutes. India's legal vulnerability. Explain how India's alleged involvement, even if it was purely a gesture of trust, puts her in a challenging position. Authorities may consider her an accessory or suspect in covering up potential evidence. The toll on their relationship. Speculate on how this situation could affect India and Lil Durk's relationship. The strain of a high-stakes investigation could pressure even the strongest bonds. Durk's possible motivations. Consider why Lil Durk might have felt it was safer to leave this evidence with India rather than keeping it himself or with someone in his inner circle. Federal pressure on India. Outline how authorities might now approach India, potentially offering deals or applying pressure to get her to cooperate, knowing she holds vital evidence. Act 5. Reactions within OTF and the street community, 5 minutes. OTF's reaction to the allegations. Describe how this news might impact the dynamics within OTF. Some members might view the situation as a betrayal, while others could see it as a strategic move. The street community's perception. Discuss how the community might perceive Durk's alleged decision to place this evidence with India, potentially viewing it as a bold or reckless move. OTF Jam's position strengthened. Explore how Jam's credibility within the OTF community could be impacted, with some possibly seeing him as a snitch and others as someone who bravely revealed the truth. Impact on Durk's legacy. Examine how this situation might affect Lil Durk's standing within both his fanbase and the music industry. Act 6. What's next for the investigation and court proceedings? 5 minutes. Upcoming legal proceedings. Detail the expected next steps in the legal process, including any upcoming hearings for Lil Durk, India, or Jam. Speculate on how their legal teams might strategize in light of the new developments. The role of the video evidence. Explain how the alleged video evidence could become central to the investigation. If it indeed exists, this footage could play a pivotal role in confirming or dispelling suspicions against Durk. India's potential legal strategy. Discuss what options India may have, from cooperating with law enforcement to fighting any charges she may face. Durk's defense strategy. Speculate on how Durk's legal team might frame the situation, possibly questioning the validity of the evidence or trying to distance him from the allegations. Conclusion. The high-stakes future for Lil Durk, India, and OTF, 5 minutes. What's at stake? Summarize the high stakes for Durk, his career, and his relationships. Explain how the outcome of this investigation could have long-lasting repercussions on his life and legacy. Public interest and fan reactions. Reflect on how fans might respond to the situation, with some showing unwavering support for Durk while others question his choices. Potential deals or sentences. Consider the range of possible outcomes, from plea deals to lengthy court battles, each carrying its own consequences for those involved. Final thoughts on legacy and trust. Close with a thought-provoking commentary on the complex themes of loyalty, trust, and survival, questioning whether Durk's decisions will ultimately protect or undo his legacy. Damn, they bogus if young boy was out, it would be up with OTF and 4K Trey, but folks nem mad at what they did. Quando Rondo allegedly set up Lil Durk after learning OTF Jam was paid $300,000. OTF spills shocking details. Introduction. Quando Rondo's strategic move against Lil Durk, 5 minutes. Setting the stage. Introduce the scenario, revealing that Quando Rondo supposedly orchestrated a setup against Lil Durk after an explosive revelation from OTF. The high stakes. Explain that the stakes were raised when OTF Jam allegedly received a $300,000 payment, bringing heat on Quando, Rondo, Lil Durk, and other OTF members. The involvement of money adds intrigue, suggesting motivations beyond personal vendettas. The leaked details introduce the idea that OTF exposed this confidential information, potentially triggering an intense fallout within both OTF and Quando Rondo's camp. Act 1. The alleged setup by Quando Rondo, 5 minutes. Quando's suspicion. Describe how Quando Rondo's concerns about OTF members' loyalty supposedly began, especially after his crew faced repeated setbacks. OTF Jam's $300,000 job. Detail the alleged $300,000 payment made to OTF Jam to carry out a mission and how this news may have shaken Quando's confidence in maintaining control over his turf. The plan forms. Paint a picture of how Quando might have reacted after hearing this news, with a plan to take preemptive action against Lil Durk before things escalated further. Act 2. OTF explosive revelation, 5 minutes. OTF relationship with the crew. Explain OTF role and connection to both Lil Durk and OTF Jam, giving insight into his possible motivations for leaking the details. How DD found out. Lay out how OTF may have stumbled upon the information about the $300,000 payment and realized it had the potential to shift power dynamics. The moment of revelation. Describe DD's alleged disclosure of this information to Quando and how it might have changed the stakes. Quando's reaction. Speculate on how Quando reacted after learning about the alleged payment. Did he feel he was on the verge of being double-crossed? Act 3. The setup unfolds, 5 minutes. Setting up Lil Durk. Detail Quando's suspected plan to set up Lil Durk as a way to protect his position, framing it as a strategic move rather than a personal vendetta. The mechanism of the setup. Describe how Quando allegedly mobilized his own team, leveraging local knowledge and connections to establish a plan against Lil Durk. The involvement of others. Introduce additional people who could be implicated, including other OTF members who might have had knowledge of the plan, creating an even bigger ripple effect. The role of the $300,000 bag. Discuss the importance of the money and how it may have amplified tension within OTF, pushing members into desperate situations. Act 4. Fallout from OTF actions, 5 minutes. DD's position under threat. Explain how OTF decision to expose the information about Jam's payment led to unforeseen consequences within the crew. OTF members react. Describe the tension among OTF members as the revelation of the money turns members against one another and plants seeds of distrust. Quando's next steps. Show how Quando, with newfound leverage, might be pressing his advantage and preparing to move forward with his plan. Lil Durk's response. Detail Lil Durk's likely reaction as he realizes the extent of the information DD has let slip and how it affects his control over his team. Act 5. The alleged setup in motion, 5 minutes. Quando's plans take shape. Describe the specifics of how Quando might attempt to set Lil Durk up, whether through false leads, alliances, or luring him into a situation he can't escape. OTF's tension peaks. Depict the increasing tension within OTF as members realize that someone in their ranks may have betrayed them. The role of social media and public perception. Show how word spreads quickly, with social media amplifying the suspicions, leaving both Quando and Durk under intense scrutiny. The psychological impact. Explore the mental toll on Lil Durk, who now has to manage both the internal fallout within OTF and the looming threat of Quando's setup. Act 6. The financial and emotional strain, 5 minutes. The impact of the $300,000. Explain how the revelation of such a substantial amount of money has influenced the loyalty of OTF members and heightened tensions within the crew. Quando and Lil Durk's financial motives. Discuss the role money plays in escalating the feud, turning it into a higher-stakes battle with significant rewards for whoever comes out on top. Emotional repercussions. Go deeper into the personal toll on Lil Durk and his team, focusing on the feelings of betrayal and mistrust that emerge as OTF fractures under pressure. Act 7. Law enforcement gets involved, 5 minutes. Police monitoring and intervention. Describe how local and federal authorities begin investigating these new developments, with the $300,000 potentially being traced back to other criminal activities. Surveillance and leaked information. Detail how police might use wiretaps or undercover agents to monitor both OTF and Quando's camp, gathering intelligence on each side. The threat of legal consequences. Show the looming possibility of arrests or charges as law enforcement closes in, putting Quando, Lil Durk, and OTF under even more pressure. Quando and Durk's response to law enforcement. Speculate on how Quando and Lil Durk each react to the increased surveillance, possibly modifying their strategies in response. Act 8. The community reacts and media coverage grows. 5 minutes. Public perception. Discuss how fans and the hip-hop community react to these explosive developments, with public support and criticism on both sides. The media frenzy. Describe how media outlets latch onto the story, creating a firestorm of speculation and coverage that puts even more pressure on Quando and Durk. Community tensions rise. Examine the impact on the communities where Quando and Durk are based, with local supporters feeling the tension and potentially being drawn into the conflict. OTF and Quando's public statements. Speculate on whether either camp will address the controversy publicly, possibly through social media posts or statements from their representatives. Conclusion. The high-stakes showdown, 5 minutes. What's next for Quando and Lil Durk? Summarize the dramatic turns the story has taken, emphasizing how the $300,000, OTFDD's alleged leak, and Quando's alleged setup have created a volatile situation. Possible legal outcomes. Explore potential scenarios, from plea deals to criminal charges, that could arise as the investigation heats up. The fate of OTF and Quando's crew. Speculate on what the future holds for OTF and Quando's camp, including whether the alleged setup will cause irreparable damage to both teams. Final reflections. Close with a broader commentary on the risks of loyalty, money, and fame in the hip-hop world, questioning what might happen next for Lil Durk and Quando Rondo.